everybody. Welcome to another episode of Cape Rugby TV, where we keep taking a look at what's happening in the world of Western Province Club Rugby. Even during the difficult times that we've been going through, we keep talking about the activities of Western Province Club Rugby. Big thanks, of course, to our partners on board with us here. Direct Access, your financial services partner. MChem 24-hour pharmacy down the corner of N1 and Durban Road. Score Energy Drinks, of course, as you know, Score is on board with Cape Rugby TV. There you see the logo behind me, and remember, you can, of course, win yourself a case of Score Energy Drinks during the course of the show. Just keep your mobile phones handy. And Thorburn Security Solutions, all on board with Cape Rugby TV. And don't forget, folks, during the course of the show, we'll also give you an opportunity to win yourself a set of masks, courtesy of CTC Sports. All that tonight on Cape Rugby TV. Very exciting. All right, we've got a nice full show for you this evening. We'll be catching up in a second or so with Nosipho Pozwa. She is the Western Province Rugby Under-16 women's or girls team coach, so to say. Frances Engelbrecht is the chair lady of the Tygerberg Rugby Football Club women's team. And we'll catch up with Joey Solomons. He is, of course, Joey Classes Solomons. He's, of course, the chairman of the Western Province Rugby Referee Society. And we'll catch up with the DHL Stormers. This is, of course, after their successful outing at Newlands over the weekend, over the Toyota Cheetahs. And we'll catch up with our very own Renzel Botman about the past players' structure at Hands and Hearts and their connection to their under-20s. But joining me on the line now, Nosipho Pozwa, Western Province Rugby Under-16 girls team coach. Nosipho, nice to have you on the show. How are things there with you?
I'm fine, and yourself, JP?
Yes, no, I'm pretty well. As we've been saying to everybody over the last 7 months, we've been saying we go one step at a time, one foot in front of the other. Nosipho, let's start at the beginning. How did you get involved with rugby?
Oh, I was still in high school in PE. I was in Zondilelo High School. So my school was dominated by rugby. I was playing netball that time. But when I saw the boys playing rugby, then I wanted to play also. Then when they introduced women's rugby in South Africa, then I told myself that I want to be involved and play rugby.
Did you have a position? Because you say you come from netball. Did you have a favorite position when you started playing?
When I started playing rugby?
Yeah.
Yes, I have my favorite position. It was fly half. But I was very fat. I wanted to play fly half, but because of my body, then I changed to hooker.
Oh, you changed to hooker. All right, okay. And then, of course, you came to Cape Town. You got involved here at Western Province Rugby, and you played for UWC.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that.
UWC. When UWC played against us in PE, I was playing for Vista University. Then they told me that I must come to Cape Town and play for them. And that time I didn't have a matric. So they told me, no, there's no problem. You can come. We can do something about that. Then I came to UWC. I think it was 2005. Then I came to play for UWC. And
that was the start of your rugby career.
Yes.
Now, tell us a little bit about playing for UWC. Was that a challenge? I mean, UWC's got great women's rugby.
It was a challenge back then because that time most of the UWC players was new in rugby. So when I started to play with them, then they started to believe in themselves and wanted to play, because when they play against Goodwood, there was a team that called Goodwood, but that team is no more now. So that team was a big team. So when they beat UWC, 100 score. So when I started to play for UWC, then they believe in themselves. Then we started to break that record, because most of the team in Western Cape, they were beaten by Goodwood. Then we started to break that record, 10 years record. We beat Goodwood. I remember we were playing there in their main field. So we beat Goodwood. The score was 10-5, if I remember correctly.
That must have been a good feeling for you.
Yes, that was a good feeling for me.
I'm getting
because
goosebumps.
It was my first time. So it was my first time to play against that team. We beat that team. I remember our coach was Coach Pedro, the lady.
Yeah, I remember that.
So
I remember that. Yeah. Yeah, no,
yeah.
We did an interview a few weeks ago with Anissa Adams, who is now, of course, taken over as the coach at UWC. Okay.
Yeah.
But talking about coaching, from UWC, you of course got more involved with Western Province Rugby, and at this stage you're coaching the Western Province Rugby under 16 side. How did you get involved in coaching and specifically at Western Province Rugby?
When I was studying at UWC, then I was doing teaching. Then I applied at Zimasa Primary School. Then I went there. Then I started to coach women's rugby. So it's when I started to be involved in coaching for Western Province. But before that, I was also involved when I was coaching the schools. There was a program where all the old players and the players that play rugby went to the school and coached the school. So I was also involved.
Nosipho, now of course one of the big things that's happening at Western Province. Well, before we go to that, just tell us about some of the success stories for the girls, for the under 16 side. Have you guys got a lot of memories? I mean, we obviously haven't been able to play this year. It's been a terrible year for sport and of course for rugby as well. But have you got any good memories there of the Western Province girls under 16 side?
Yes, I do have good memories, especially when I was a manager. We won all our tournaments, we won. Then I started to be a coach last year. Then we won also. Yeah, so that was a good memory for me. Yeah.
That's fantastic. Nosipho, now Western Province Rugby is rolling out a high performance program, coaching program, which is exclusively for women. Yes. Tell us a little bit more about that and your involvement.
Yes, we're going to start on the 5th of December. I will be also involved in that. So I want to grow my career. So I'll also be going to be involved on that coaching. And we want all the girls, especially those former players, to come on board and also be their coaches, because we want women's rugby to be handled by women.
Nosipho, we also spoke to Nell Rousseau, Western Province Rugby's team manager, and we had Lorian Johannes Haupt on the show, and we had Babalwa Lacha on the show. You've got some really fantastic people with you.
Yes, especially Lorian Johannes. We started to play together at UWC. Same age, same rugby team, same coaching, because we're coaching Western Province together. So we play for national team together.
So do you think that team of management, yourself and Lorian and Danelle and Babalwa, do you think that is all? I mean, it must be. It's very positive. You're all together. You all know each other. You've all got that joined experience. I mean, Babal was the national captain, the provincial captain. Lorian is involved at a national level. Nell herself has got international, national, and local experience. I mean, you guys really have got the top of the pile of knowledge and experience to bring to this development program.
Yes, that I think for me, especially to see Lorian and see Danelle and also Lacha to be there on top, I am very happy. I am very happy. I think the girls will see and copycat everything that they are doing, because they are doing positive things.
That's fantastic. This is such good news for sport. It's such good news for women's rugby. I'm so happy for you. You mentioned that you would, of course, like to bring back some of the former Western Province Rugby women's players and coaches and get them involved as well.
Yes, that would be good, because most of them, they are roaming the streets. They are doing nothing. They are not studying. They are not working. So for them, it's going to help them to be involved in women's rugby, at least to do something and plow back to the kids.
Get back involved. Yeah, a lot of coaching experience there as well. Nosipho, we're going to leave it at that. Have you got any shout outs that you want to give to anybody? You want to say hello to anybody at Zimasa or the girls at the Western Province Rugby under 16 side?
I want to say to them, to the Zimasa players and also the teachers, that let's stay positive, especially in this thing that is going on in our country. So let's stay positive and focus.
That's great.
Everything will follow.
That's great, Nosy. Thank you very much. We, of course, say the same to you. Stay safe out there. Wash the hands, social distancing, wear the masks. And we can't wait to see you guys on the field where we can come and take lots of pictures and videos and showcase your skills.
I can't wait also. It's boring now because you don't do nothing.
Fantastic, Nosy. We'll catch up soon. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
There we go, folks. Nosipo Pozwa, Western Province Rugby's under-16 girls coach, and they're busy with development program, which is exclusively for women, and we're looking forward to following their progress. Don't go away. When we come back from the break, we carry on talking about what's happening in the world of Western Province Club Rugby. Back in a sec. Hello everybody, welcome back. Cape Rugby TV. We carry on talking about what's happening in the world of Western Province Club Rugby, and as you know, we've got a tremendous focus at the moment on women's rugby, and we're going to keep driving this and really make sure that we bolster the women's rugby supporters, players, coaches, managers, and so on out there. Over the last few weeks, we've managed to speak to Babalwa Lacha, Lorian, Johannes Haupt. We've had Danelle Rousseau on the show. We've had Anissa Adams from UWC on the show. And of course, today we had Nosipo Pozwa on the show. But we're thrilled now to have on the show the chairlady of Tygerberg Women's Rugby Football Club on the show with us. And as I say, we kind of got her a little bit by surprise, but we managed to get her on the show, and she had some fantastic announcements over the weekend. Francis Engelbrecht. Francis, great to have you on the show. How are things there with you?
Thank you, JP. Things are great. Thanks.
Francis, first time for us on the show with you. Before you tell us what you guys did this weekend, first tell me a little bit about Tygerberg Rugby Football Women's Department. You're the chair lady.
Okay, JP. The women's rugby at Tygerberg started back in 2016 when we offered rugby for under 16 and 18s. And then in 2018, we started our first senior women's team. We ended second in the league, though, in 2018, and we qualified to represent VP Rugby at the National Club Championship. And we ended fourth out of the 9 teams that year. So, yeah, that's about Tygerberg.
So that's fantastic. So you've got quite it sounds like if you're having such success, you've got a very well organized structure. Tygerberg women's rugby team obviously then doing quite well.
Yes, we are doing quite well, JP.
So tell us a little bit about that. Tell us a little bit how many ladies you've got, how many teams. Of course, this has been a difficult year. There's been no training. There's been no matches. I mean, the women at the club must be obviously very disappointed about the fact that they haven't been able to play this year. But tell us a little bit about the teams and how often, well, maybe under normal circumstances, would they practice?
Yes, we are approximately 30 ladies in our team. We practice on a Tuesday and Thursday. Yeah, at the moment there's the pandemic, so we don't practice. We are basically the only team in the northern suburbs of Western Cape. So we are having everyone in the northern suburbs joining us, from Kraaifontein to Elsiestrivier. Yeah, and we are almost 30 ladies in the team.
I've got to ask you, as the chair lady of a women's rugby structure, would you say that there's a big difference between being the chair lady of a women's rugby structure versus the chair lady of a man's rugby structure?
I would say there's no difference. It's how you post yourself. It's how you deal with it. If you want to make a success, JP, you can do it. Hence, you're a lady or a man, you can do it. It's the goal you set for yourself, and you can be successful if you are goal-driven.
That's positive. That's positive, Francis. So let's talk a little bit about the teams, other teams out there before we talk about your big surprise that you had over the weekend. Who the top women's sides out there that every year you say, hang on, we've really got to get our game plan together for?
We always set our game plan for Busybees Langa, but they top us every year. So yeah, we always end up second. So yeah, that is our biggest opponent. And yeah, we met on Saturday, and I think the ladies is positive. They want to get Busybees. So yeah, that's what we are ready for.
Right, so you've got your sights set already on who.
Yes.
Well, if things keep going the way that they are, you might see a lot more women's rugby teams coming to clubs over the foreseeable future, and that's of course good news for women's rugby.
Yes, JP.
Okay, Francis. So tell us a little bit about over the weekend. You had a bit of a surprise there for the women's rugby side.
Yes, so over the weekend, I informed the ladies that we having our strat planning for 2021, and I invited them to join us on Saturday. I also invited the men's management to join us, the Tigerberg management to join us on Saturday, and I surprised them with some clothing that were funded by the Lotto. The ladies were quite surprised, but they were grateful.
So the Tira all dressed up in fancy new kit.
Yes, yes. So yeah, they have to see us when we get on the field now.
Well, you've got to send us lots of photographs. We're really keen to see all that. Have you got any idea at this stage if there will be any training activities? We know that at the moment there has to be very special regulations around returning to training and so on. Are there any activities on the cards for you?
We are hopeful, JP, that there will be some training. We hope for some training. It's just that we need to register for COVID regulations and everything. And until that is confirmed, we will be back on the field for some training.
Yeah,
starting with some fitness.
Is that what everybody's looking for? Is getting forward to some fitness training? Do you see it at the moment as pre-season?
Definitely, JP. Definitely.
And how much interaction is there at the club level from a fan's point of view supporting women's rugby? I mean, we know that Tigerberg, the Tira has got such a fantastic supporters club. I mean, you go to when you get to Tigerberg, there's just fans everywhere. Do you get a lot of support?
The women get a lot of support from the supporters, I must say, and we are thankful for the supporters that they don't differentiate between men and ladies. So yeah, we do get a lot of support. We are thankful.
And then, Francis, Western Province Rugby is rolling out a high-performance coaching course at the moment, which is exclusively for women. Will you be participating in that, or will some of the coaches at your club also be maybe participating in that?
JP, we started with practice in March 2020, and I think we were a step ahead for VP. We identified 3 ladies already that we started with the coaching program. We wanted them to get on board. So when the VP made it formal, we already identified 3 in March. So yeah, we submitted their names and we were a step ahead.
That's fantastic. So we've got to get them on TV. We've got to also focus on your coaches that are coming through the ranks then.
Yes, yes.
Francis, I think we'll leave it at that. Are there any shout outs from your side for the women's rugby side or for the Tira fans?
Shout out to all the Tira fans, to my team, my rugby team, Tigerberg ladies. Big shout out to them. So yeah.
Okay, Francis, well, we're looking forward to following the progress. We're so happy that you guys had such success over the weekend. We know that those type of moments are very special moments, and of course, after 7 months of not being able to see each other, it must have been even more special.
It was very special, JP. So yeah.
Thanks, Francis. We'll catch up again soon.
Thank you, JP.
There we go. And of course, we remind you, stay safe out there. Wash the hands, practice social distancing, and always wear a mask.
Will do. Thank you.
Thanks, Francis. There we go, folks. Francis Engelbrecht, Tigerberg Rugby Football Women's Club chair lady. And we're looking forward to getting them back on the line to talk more about what's happening at Tigerberg Women's Rugby side. Folks, as you know, on a weekly basis, we do a review of MCAM 24-hour pharmacies, public reviews, Facebook and Google. And this week's review, of course, comes in from Wesley Swichelaar. And Wesley says, good day MChem management team. What a pleasure it was driving 60 kilometers to your store and receiving such friendly service early hours of the morning. Been at your store for the very first time ever, as we don't have a 24-hour pharmacy anywhere in the southern suburbs. Please consider opening a branch anywhere between Wynberg and Muizenberg, which would be halfway either between Cape Town and Simonstown. But my trip was well worth it. Thank you for an awesome, amazing, friendly service all around. Kind regards, Wesley. Well, folks, there we go. Wesley Swiggelaar giving MChem Pharmacy a 5-star rating. MChem 24-hour pharmacy, 5-star rating. Every staff member at MChem 24-hour pharmacy is, of course, geared to help you with your pharmaceutical requirements from the minute that you park to the minute that you leave. MChem staff are there to help you with whatever you need, whenever you need it. And that's MChem's promise. MChem 24-hour pharmacy is always open, and they're there to help you 24 hours a day, every day. Folks, when we come back from the break, we'll carry on talking about what's happening in the world of Western Province Club Rugby. Don't go away. Welcome back, folks. Cape Rugby TV. We carry on talking about what's happening in the world of Western Province Club Rugby. One of the structures that has been the most active during the last 7 months has, of course, been the Western Province Rugby Referee Society. They've been not only busy with all of their courses for coaches and so on, but they've also been very busy with outreach projects, and they've tied in with, like many of you have, they've tied up with foundations that have helped and supported the structure. Not to mention the fact that they're recruiting constantly and trying to get more referees. But joining me on the line now, the chairman of the Western Province Rugby Referee Society, Joey Klaaster-Salmans. Joey, nice to have you back.
Thank you, JP. It's always great to have a chat with you.
Joey, you did it again this weekend. You guys again went out, another fantastic initiative, this time again with the Chester Williams Foundation. Tell us about it.
Yeah, we actually had two functions this weekend. On Saturday, we were busy with the Kolisi Foundation. And again, the Kolisi Foundation has supported us very well this year with supporting our own referees who've really been struggling. And I've just, my shout out to both Rachel and Sia for just supporting the referees and making sure that our members have got food on the table. So that's a great initiative from their side. And then on Sunday, we had a bit of a picnic opposite the Malan in the Dani Eisberg. And that's when we handed over cycling kit to our newly established referees charity ride and run project.
Let me just hold on there. The Referees Ride and Charity Run Project. Did I get it? The Referees Ride and Run Charity Project. All right, okay. So am I right now? The referees who play rugby are now also running and cycling.
So yeah, basically what happens is these oaks on a Saturday and a Sunday are out there cycling, and then they've got some runners. I think there's about 3 or 4 runners. And then, so they're clocking kilometers, JP. The guys gave me some stats on Sunday. I was totally shocked. I didn't know that they were doing so much. One of the riders have done, since we started this project, has done close to 3,000 kilometers on his bicycle. And that's just over weekends because they meet on a Saturday morning and then they go and cycle as a team. And on set Saturdays, when we engage with some of the foundations, they cycle to wherever we are doing an outreach. So on Saturday they cycled from Belleville to City Park and cycled back. And soon we will be supporting Maria Williams and the Chester Williams Foundation when they hand out their Christmas gifts and stuff at one of the venues, and then the guys will be cycling there as well. So we kind of, between the two foundations, we are also trying to support them with their initiatives because of their support of us.
So Joey, with the cycling, it's not just for fitness, it's part of the project, it's part of the awareness campaign as well. Yeah,
it is actually, it's twofold. So one is just to showcase that refereeing is actually not just about, the blowing of a whistle on the field, where we seem to be getting a lot of negative attention. But this was actually to try and show the positive side of the refereeing organization. And I must say, from the comments that I've been getting on Facebook and Twitter and people who've been phoning, it has really been very well received across the country. Even other provinces have asked me, how do they start? How can they contribute? So this has really, really been good for us. And I'm saying us as a collective, that means the whole of Western Province.
That's fantastic, Joe. I mean, you and I have had these offline conversations about the fact that the referees, like you say, it's more than just blowing a match on a Saturday. You're actually a society of people, from previous referees, current referees, new referees. You've got a whole structure there that one can belong to and be part of.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when I started in 2015, I told the executive that I really want us to start investing in the referees who left us. In other words, the older folk, the guys who have been and are now somewhere. I am very much keen on history and finding people, because there's such a lot of referees out there who has actually played a role in the success of our society, and they just gone. And I want them to be part of us. Even when we launched our new website, one of the criteria and one of the things that I was adamant on was I wanted a historical review of the society, and I didn't want that to just start whenever they came together. I wanted it to go pre that, because there were people before that really fought hard to get us to become one society. And I do not want to forget those stalwarts, because if it wasn't for their hard work, we wouldn't be the success that we are as a society.
But now that, of course, leads also to the other side, which is people who are joining, people who are new. Who can then lean on people like yourself and other experienced referees for guidance and mentorship.
Yeah, and for me that's important. You know, the game is evolved so much that even when we do a level 1 course this week, JP, because of the lack of numbers, we're probably going to throw that guy in the deep end next weekend. So he's got between the training on a Saturday to refereeing a game in 7 days' time, and the spectators don't always appreciate that, because they're expecting a referee. That's it. That's all they expect. They expect one with a very high level of competency, and sometimes they're getting a beginner, a new guy, a guy who's just feeling his way around.
That's okay. I mean, everybody has to start somewhere. You've got to get your feet wet and get the ball rolling, so to speak.
Exactly.
I mean, this, what you're doing, it just comes across like this is fantastic, because people who are getting their feet wet are able to engage and get advice from yourself.
Yeah, correct. So and I mean, I'm heading up a group on a Wednesday night called the High Performance Group, and this is open to any referee, even if it's a beginner or if it's a top referee. If you feel that you can contribute to a high performance coaching environment, then you can come in. So even on those sessions, I don't coach I don't coach those referees like I would coach a beginner ref. I coach them at the level of national and international, because I'm still involved in that sphere as well with the TMOing. So I get to understand what the shape of the game and what is needed. So I take that and I bring it to our Western Province referees, and I'm telling you, I'm loving it. And COVID has only proven to us that the one thing that we took for granted was the use of ICT to be able to help and develop our referees. And I'm not going to stop. I think next year is going to be a blended approach, a little bit of face-to-face, but a lot more of online stuff, because even with the online, at the beginning of COVID, I opened on one Saturday, I had a session, and I had a lot of clubs that came into that session who sat in when we were talking about the laws, and that for me is something I want to do a lot more of.
You're just on a final note, Joey, of course, we hear your voice a lot. I'm moving a little bit away from the referee society now, but we hear your voice a lot as a TMO. So when we're watching the match, we can hear your voice in the background. Is there a big difference? I mean, there's only a handful of positions in the world available for TMOs. Is there a big difference between the actual refereeing on the field and then constructing this into a visual, digital, verbal message that has to go out on the field?
I'll tell you what, JP, when I started, it was stressful. I think people are saying to me, yes, you've lost a lot of weight. I'm like, yeah, you should start TMOing as well. It is because remember, every second that I have to make a decision is like 2 minutes for you watching as the spectator. So we tried to do it as quick as possible, with the knowledge that you have as a referee. So you've got your knowledge of your refereeing knowledge. You know what the referee wants from you because he's very clear in his instructions. And then it is just to go and look for it as on the visuals. And if you're not finding the evidence, and then it's about conveying the message back to them. Now, this year it's been a very interesting thing because there's been no big screens at the stadium.
Of course, the referee on the field can't look at the screen. Yes.
Yeah. So this year has been, even from and this is where I'm grateful that I studied and to become a teacher and a language teacher, because at this moment I have to make sure that the picture that I'm painting to him in words is exactly what I'm seeing on the screen. And that's why we try to keep it as simple as possible. There's a process that we follow. For instance, if it's foul play, we go, is it foul play, yes or no? Yes. And then we describe what the foul play looks like. Then we go look at the impact. Is it the high level, low level impact? And then we kind of get to the decision of, okay, so with all of these things that we've just answered, is this a red card, a yellow card, or just a penalty only?
Sounds very complicated.
It is complicated, and we meet on a weekly basis, the TMOs. We meet on a Tuesday evening with Mark Lawrence and Lyndon Bray, and we go through scenarios and talk about these things, because I think TMOing in South Africa is here to stay. We're not sure what it looks like in the world, but we definitely, it's something we're embracing in South Africa. So it's going to be here for a while.
Joey, we look forward to catching up with you again on a regular basis. We know that you're busy with the Chester Williams Foundation, you're busy with the Siya Kolisi Foundation, all to help the Western Province Rugby Referee Society and draw awareness and, of course, support the referees. And we look forward to following the progress and supporting you guys.
Yeah, I just want to obviously say to you, JP, you have been a keen supporter since I was a referee. Thank you very much for your support as well of the Refereeing Society and helping us recruiting new members. And I'm hoping that the clubs are going to send us a whole lot of new guys that we can start 2020-21 with. Absolutely.
I'm absolutely sure they will. Thanks, Joey. We'll chat soon. There we go, folks. Joey Klaas de Salmans. As you can hear what he's saying there. He's talking about referees as a unit, as a team, as a family, getting involved. And so if you are watching right now, join the Western Province Rugby Referee Society. Jump in. Get part of the structure. It is a fantastic organization with a lot more involved than simply blowing a whistle on a Saturday. Folks, we'll take an ad break. When we come back from the break, we're carrying talking about club rugby in Western Province. Back in a sec. Welcome back, everybody. Cape Rugby TV. We carry on talking about what's happening in the world of Western Province Club Rugby. Well, as you know, the DHL Stormers have now come to the end of the road in the Vodacom Super Rugby Unlocked tournament. Unfortunately, they will not be taking on the Sharks this weekend, but they do now get ready for the Currie Cup. Of course, one of the first games is at DHL Newlands. We went down to the HPC, the High Performance Centre, to chat to some of the players at practice.
Yeah, I think it was our most complete performance up to now in the competition. I thought our defence was pretty remarkable. And I think also we strung some nice kicking plays together as well as some good attacking shape. So overall, I think the best performance yet. Sure, I think there's a great mix, as you've mentioned, of young and experience, and I think with that comes a lot of energy and competition, and that's both things that we need all the time. And I think it's been evident from the rotations that have been made week on week that competition and energy has given guys opportunities and they've taken them all. are very disappointing. I think, we had started to build nice momentum and we're looking forward to this game. In fact, we had a disappointing game there in Super Rugby at the beginning of the year. So I think we wanted to set the record straight and go there and make an impact. So very disappointed, but we'll get ready for the Bulls next week.
I think it was relatively a good game. We have been playing pretty well since the back game from the first game. The boys have been feeling very good. The energy inside the team is pretty good. It's quite vibey, and we're executing better. Our plans are coming into place, and the guys feel more comfortable. So it is getting better and better every week. Our defense is also getting better. The guys are finding each other, and we're obviously stopping the momentum. So it's getting better and better, and the guys are enjoying it a little bit more. And I think that's why that's better, because we're starting to enjoy each other and we're starting to find each other. So it always put up a good performance. I think the first thing is energy. The energy inside the team is quite immaculate right now. The guys are enjoying each other firstly. I think that translates nicely into how we play the game. And the second, I think the way we're executing our game plan right now is quite permanent, because we were not doing that in the beginning of the season, and it was costing us. So the energy is accounted for because of the execution of our plays and our plans. It's really good. It's really good. Yeah, there's a good balance in the team right now. The kind of like the balance between old and experienced, not old, experienced and young, is quite good. It's a cliche by now, but the younger guys do bring a lot of energy because they're very enthusiastic, and I guess them wanting to reach higher heights pushes the guys on top as well, or the more experienced guys, to bring their parts to the party. But also that experience brings some calmness when we're in times of trouble or we're under pressure, which is a good link between the two. As long as the two are intertwined and working together, then it's a good thing. And I think we have that here. They're working with each other rather than against. Yeah, well, for myself it's bad news because I've been injured for quite a while. I was due to make my comeback, or I was in contention to make my comeback this weekend. So that's quite a bummer for me. But for the rest of the guys, I think it's quite crucial that we get the rest in. You can see the guys are starting to get a little bit tired. The fatigue was settling in, especially the guys that played 80 minutes for a couple of weeks. So the rest are doing good. They'll niggle the rest and they'll come back fresh, I guess.
Yeah, it's a massive honor. Like the guys, they've got so much knowledge that you can just like sponge off, and like they're always like willing to help, and just a massive honor. Like some of the guys that you watched when you were like in high school and stuff, and now you're like around them. It's amazing. Being in a team with the World Cup winning players and in the front row, especially the forward pack, with World Cup winning players, it's massive honor, massive privilege. Just get to learn so much from these guys and realize how like the wealth of knowledge that they carry and that they like impart on you it's invaluable. It's always a motivating factor to be like on the same pitch as them, training with them, playing with them it's indescribable. To have like the kind of coaches that we have who come from the backgrounds that they come from club rugby, it's a massive addition to our squad because they allow like the players to play freely, which is like the brand of Western Province Rugby and Stormers Rugby, which is like rugby that the fans love to come and watch on a Saturday, and they allow the players the freedom to do, like us as the players, the freedom to do that while still having like our structures that make us feel safe and still having the ability to still play freely. So it was a great performance from the guys, especially like without there being any fans, without there being any energy to draw from the crowd. We had to the guys had to create their own energy like within the stadium. So it's great credit to them for being able to create all that energy and being able to execute the gameplay the way that they did. With the game against the Cheetahs, I think the guys really played like tactically quite well, played in the right areas, didn't overplay in our own 22, put the ball into the right areas and just like dominating.
Welcome back, folks. There we go. DHL Stormers players, Chris van Sail, Siabela Senatla and Quenzi Bloz, all getting ready for the Currie Cup now, of course. Right, folks, as you know, Score Energy Drinks, Score on board with Cape Rugby TV and the Western Province Club Rugby Sevens. Now, if you want to win for yourself a case of Score Energy Drinks, that all you need to do is grab your mobile phone and SMS the word SCORE to 33090. Just SMS the word SCORE to 33090 and you put yourself in the mix to win a case of Score Energy Drinks. It's all up for grabs, so get the phone, SMS, SCORE, the word SCORE to 33090. Congratulations to last week's winner, David Lamb. David, you walk away with a case of Score Energy Drinks. Somebody from Cape Rugby TV is going to be in touch with you shortly. Folks, don't go away. When we come back from the break, we'll carry on talking about club rugby. Back in a sec. Welcome back, folks. Cape Rugby TV. We're carrying on talking about what's happening in the world of Western Province Club Rugby. And, of course, as you know, a lot of clubs have been busy with reaching out to their past players' structures and connecting with their different squads, whether it be women and girls squads or junior squads. And we're going to be catching up with our very own Renzel Botman from Hands and Hearts in a second. He's going to tell us about what's happening at their past player structures and how they're connecting it to their under-20s. But folks, we have to, of course, remind you that CTC Sports has kindly donated a set of 20 masks to us at Cape Rugby TV. You'll see the mask here, a fantastic mask with our logo on it. Now, if you want to win for yourself a set of masks like this, where you can win a set of 20 masks like this with your own custom logo on the mask, then all you need to do is SMS the word or the letters CTC to 33090. 33090, and you can put yourself in the mix to win yourself a set of masks courtesy of CTC Sports. And of course, you got to go and fetch it at CTC Sports in Cape Town. Congratulations to Maureen Asser. Maureen walks away with a set of 20 masks courtesy of CTC Sports. Maureen, somebody from Cape Rugby TV is going to get in touch with you, and you can send your logo and, of course, then go and collect your custom-made masks at CTC Sports. But right, folks, joining me on the line now from Hands and Hearts Rugby Football Club, our very own Renzel Botman. Renzel, nice to have you on the show.
Hi, good evening, James. Thanks for having me, and hello to all the viewers.
Thanks, Renz. I nearly said, well, it's a first time for you, but in fact, I think it is a first time for you. Of course, you're behind the scenes with us all the time, but let's stick to business here. We're talking to you now in terms of Hands and Hearts. As you know, a lot of the clubs have been busy with their old boys structures or their past players structures, and we believe it's the same at Hands and Hearts.
Yeah, obviously, past players, it's all about the history within the club, and we're trying to get that back, and trying to get all the past players and all the legends back, and just building the club from there.
So one of the reasons, of course, we're talking to you is because you are the Hands and Hearts under-20 coach, and you've got a project happening between the past players and the under-20s.
Yeah, so we're planning a get-together, or you can say a braai, It's next weekend on the 28th of November. And we're planning to get all, and it actually works as we trying to get our database for next year, building the under 20s. And that's where we want to get our past players connected, almost like a mentorship. Getting the past players getting a prop or a lock or a fly off, and just take him and take that fly off from under 20s and work with him, and just building our youth rugby in hands and hearts.
Renz, let's go back a little bit. Let's go back a few steps. Tell us a little bit about the past players' structures. How long have they been around, and who's all involved?
We started in 2017. And we got affiliated with the club in 2018. So from 2018, we got affiliated to Hands and Hearts, the club itself, and we about 30 plus players at the moment, and we're trying to grow now, obviously, and this is such a great platform just for everyone to see, obviously, that Hands and Hearts is busy, trying to build their old boy structure again.
So obviously lockdown has been devastating for everybody. There's been no games, no activities. Before lockdown and going back, what are the kind of things that you guys would normally do at Hands in terms of the old boy structure? Do you guys have get-togethers? Do you still talk about the old games or activities?
Jeez, do we have whole day, Japes? Because that's what it's about. It's about getting together once a month at the player's house, having a braai, after a game at the field. You know how it goes after a game on a Saturday. The guys sit together and just talk all day. You go to the field at 1 o'clock the afternoon and you leave the field at 9 o'clock the night. So yeah, we try to get together once a month. Every Tuesday and Thursday, the guys are playing touches with one another.
Renzo, the under-20s next week, you've got an event coming up. Of course, you got the old boys there. Do you see that there's a connection between the old boys as past players, maybe adding value to the junior structures from a wisdom point of view?
Oh yeah, definitely, James. Old boys, our past players, and these guys are entrepreneurs. They've got their own businesses. They're managers at companies. And, these kids, they come from school. Maybe they don't study. Maybe they go work, and that's why we want to bring in the old boys, to mentor them. You never know if one of our old boys maybe have a civil engineering company and one of the kids wants to be a civil engineer one day. And why not mentor him into that field, and that is what we want to bring in, and even like you said, they bring value to the club itself, the old boys, because these guys got so much wisdom and so much passion for the club itself, and that is why I want to bring them in and just show the kids, there's so much history and so much heritage within Hands and Hearts that you can be proud of.
And for folks that are watching, are they able to join the old boy structure?
Yes, definitely. We've got a Facebook page. It's called the Hands on Hearts Old Boys. You go onto the Facebook page, you send us a message there. It's 150 Rand registration fee. And just like that, you're part of the Old Boys.
And now tell us a little bit about the under-20s. We've got about 2 minutes left. The under-20s now, of course, we know that there were no games this year. We're hoping to see that there's going to be a little bit of training, but under-20s, have you got an idea what you want to do next year? Have you got some sort of plan, or is it too early to talk about that? And of course, we don't expect you to give away any secrets.
Yeah, I just want to say I don't want the cat out of the bag, Japes. Look, we've been doing good the past 2 seasons. Last year we won Super League C. Crazy as it may seem, we probably 500 points or 600 points for the year. We only we conceded less than 50 points for the year, and this year we were planning to bombard Super League B and just say, you know what, Hands and Hearts under 20s is probably one of the best teams in Western Province Rugby. So for next year, obviously, we're planning to do it again and win Super League B. But like I said, I don't want to give out too much because everyone is obviously watching the show tonight.
That's fantastic, Renz. Well, we obviously look, as I say to everybody, we look forward to following the progress. And as I say to everybody, we look forward to getting lots of photographs and lots of videos so that we can talk a lot about your old boys structure and, of course, the connection to the under-20s.
Yes, thank you, Jobs. Thank you for the opportunity actually for tonight. I think a lot of people in Kraaifontein obviously they're looking or they're watching tonight and they can be proud of Hands and Hearts because obviously, you know, Hands and Hearts is a family club. Everyone played for my father, my uncle, my grandfather, and I think 90% of the players at Hands and Hearts can actually relate to that. And that's what makes Hands and Hearts such a great club.
100%. Renz, we'll leave it at that. We'll catch up with you again soon.
Thank you, Jake.
There we go, folks. Our very own Renzel Botman, under-20 coach at Hands and Hearts. And, of course, the interview there done courtesy of the management at Hands and Hearts. But Renzel just wrapping, giving a nice summary. The past player structure, connecting with the under-20 structure, and looking forward to finding out more about their event that they will be holding next week. Folks, that's a wrap from us this evening. We trust you've enjoyed the show. We remind you again, please follow all of the health and safety precautions. Remember, wash your hands, practice social distancing, and always wear a mask. We'll see you again next week, same time, same place. A fantastic rugby weekend. Bye-bye.